We've got breaking news in the NBA to talk about. According to Shams, Kevin Durant is heading to the Houston Rockets in exchange for Dillon Brooks, Jalen Green, 10th overall pick in this year's draft, and 5 future second-round picks. Before we jump into what this means for Phoenix, what this means for Houston, what this means for the West and the NBA as a whole, if you're not already subscribed, please subscribe to the Infamously Speaking YouTube channel. Helps the channel grow, helps more people find it. Also, hit that notification bell so when content like this drops, you're the first to know. In the NBA, especially around this time of year when the season's winding down, you're starting to get into the drafts, free agency, trade talks. You don't want to miss a video. Also, follow us on our socials. They're right below me, right here in the video, and they're also in the description. We have a lot of great content there. Quan is currently getting killed for his AI over LeBron take that he posted. So that's interesting, but you don't want to miss anything. So make sure that you're followed, subscribed, notifications on. With that being said, let's jump right into the video. So let's start from the Houston side. Houston obviously had a great season, second seed in the West, got knocked out in 7 by Golden State. And the biggest thing that I think we all saw was their inability to get a bucket when they needed one, especially from some of their perimeter players. I thought Van Fleet played really well, but Jalen Green struggled. He was struggling going into the playoffs and struggled throughout that 7-game set. And so they trade that piece out for a bona fide 25 points a night, plug and play Kevin Durant, easy buckets. So I like the move for them. They absolutely got better in the short term. They rolled the dice. They still kept Amen and Sengun, which is massive. And they still kept Eason and Jabari Smith Jr. So they didn't really give up a lot of young talent outside of Jalen Green to go ahead and acquire Kevin Durant. So I like that a lot. It's going to be interesting because Jalen Green was supposed to be that guy, right? Supposed to be that scorer. And so now you pivot towards Kevin Durant, who's going to be 37 when the season starts. And now that timeline kind of gets accelerated. Now expectations get heavy in Houston. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I think they're going to be a really great team, still defensively. Of course, when you got Sengun and Amen Thompson, you should be able to do some good things defensively. And then obviously offensively, they should be better. They should be more consistent because Kevin Durant is consistent. And he doesn't need to be the guy because Sengun is awesome. Let's see if Amen takes some more offensive. His offensive game kind of goes up another level this year. His defense was incredible. And we saw spurts of offense from Amen. We're like, well, this guy, if he figures it out offensively and really gets a consistent shot, he could be really, really dangerous. Now for Phoenix, I found this trade pretty interesting. Obviously, you want to try to facilitate a trade for Durant where he can go to a place where he wanted to go, to a place where he might sign an extension. And so obviously Houston was one of those places that he named. Jalen Green is a really interesting player because we've seen these super high heights from him. Obviously, he's wildly athletic. He can score in bunches. But then he has these really low lows like we saw over the playoffs this year where he's scoring single-digit points. He's not efficient. He's kind of erratic and wild with the ball. And so I think if he can raise those valleys up, raise that floor up a little bit, he's going to be a really good player. So I like the swing for Phoenix. You're not going to be able to keep him. You're committed to Book, so you got to try to get some youth around him. I like the fact that they got 5 second-round picks. I like the fact that they got a first overall. I think Dillon Brooks is an interesting piece. Obviously, a guy that can bring some juice into a locker room and a good defender as well. He can hit some timely shots. So it's going to be interesting. I don't think Phoenix is going to be very good, but at least they have some kind of way forward. They're acquiring picks because remember when they got Beal and they got Durant, they gave up a lot of capital. And so they didn't have anything. So they got back their pick from Houston for Kevin Durant. So it's going to be interesting to see what they do. They might look to go with some size. You might see a Derek Queen. That's a potential pick, I think, to look for at 10 if he's still there. Another pick might be Carter Bryant, who's really who's a tall 6'7", 3-and-D type of player. That could be enticing for Phoenix, especially since D-Book not really known for his defense, but obviously a bona fide scorer. So you don't need and then Jalen Green, you're hoping is going to be that second scorer on the team. So you don't really need more scoring. What you need is some defense, athleticism, and I think Carter Bryant brings a lot of that if he's still available at that 10 spot. So what does this mean for the landscape in the West? Does anything change? Well, I don't think so. I think Houston is probably going to be around the same spot where they were. anywhere, 2 to 4 or 5. I mean, the West was so tightly packed outside of Oklahoma City, we just ran away with it. So I could see Houston being the 2 seed again, winning 54, 55 games, but the West is going to be interesting. Now Wemby coming back. Hopefully you get a full season healthy out of him. Stephon Castle's growth. So San Antonio, you expect to kind of move up. Portland is another sneaky team that you expect to keep getting better. Chauncey's done a phenomenal job, and they really turned it on in the second half of last season. Obviously, LA is still in there. Let's see what Golden State does. Some of the, the old guards of the West, they're still around. So I don't know if this really sets Houston on a championship course. I think we're going to have to see a lot of offensive development out of Amen Thompson for that to happen. I think their bench is going to need to continue to play great. But I wouldn't say that this puts them in firm title contention. OKC has shown that they're just head and shoulders better than everybody in the West. And depending on what happens tonight, if they win the chip or if they lose, if they win, they might just run it back. If they lose, they got a lot of assets and capital if they want to go make a swing at something. And so that'll be interesting to see. But I think, Houston they're better. They're better than they were before the trade. I just don't, you can't get much better than 2. I don't think you're going to be 1. So yes, technically you can be better than 2, but OKC has such a firm grasp on that 1 seed, barring any kind of significant injury or head scratching trade that they would make, which we haven't seen under Sam Presti. He's been a phenomenal executive for them. It's hard to see anybody dethroning Oklahoma City, bar like a Giannis to San Antonio move where they keep Stephon Castle and Wemby and add Giannis. It's going to be hard to see anybody overthrowing them in the West. But it's going to be interesting to watch. Absolutely. Is Houston done? Does Houston try to make other moves? Not sure. But it's going to be interesting to watch. I'm looking forward to it already. I'm ready for the next season to start, and this season's not even over. So let me know what your thoughts are. Obviously, the early indications are that Phoenix robbed Houston, because there was a lot of reports early that Phoenix shouldn't expect to get some kind of haul, especially after the Desmond Bane trade happened. They shouldn't expect to get any kind of haul for Kevin Durant because he was an aging player. He's going to be 37 heading into this season. And because there was no guarantee that he would re-sign whatever team they traded him to, unless it was a team that he liked, you shouldn't expect to get a haul back. But I think getting, Jalen Green, who I believe was the 2nd overall pick, getting your first back, your own first back, which is the more valuable of the picks, so getting the 10th pick back, and then getting an NBA starter in Dillon Brooks, and then 5 future Flyers and 2nd round picks, that's pretty decent. That's a pretty decent return back. I don't know if they got fleeced. I wouldn't say fleeced back. Houston probably doesn't feel that way. I'm not sure if Houston fans feel that way after seeing what happened in the playoffs. And now you got this bona fide, what he's going to give you every night from a scoring perspective. You don't have to kind of roll the dice and like, hey, what's Kevin Durant going to give us? Is he going to give us 25 or is he going to give us 6? You don't have to worry about that with KD. So obviously, I think it's you hope it's a win-win trade on both sides. I like it for both teams. I'm curious to see what other moves Phoenix makes. Do they try to move Beal? I don't know who's going to take any of that contract. Also, he has a no trade clause, so you'd have to be willing to waive it. But it's going to be interesting to see how Phoenix continues to operate while they try to continue to build around Book. But I think this is a great start in the right direction for Phoenix, being able to get younger, get some picks back, continue to move this way, and then let's see how you operate moving forward. But let me know what your thoughts are. Who won the trade? What do you expect from Houston? What do you expect from Phoenix? Does this change the landscape of the West or of the entire NBA in your mind? Or is this just hey, cool, they got Kevin Durant? Sound off in the comments below, and we'll catch you after Game 7 tonight. Who wins it all? I guess we'll be back and see. Appreciate y'all for tuning in if you made it this far. And as always, think critically, speak infamously.